Hello all, it's the 17th of June 2017. You're here with Dan in Essex, UK in the Polytunnel. Had some great weather today, been up to about 25 degrees C. Tomorrow's apparently going to be 27 to 28 degrees C, which is great by the standards of a UK summer temperature, so very happy about that. Of course, considerably warmer here in the Polytunnel, and things really are coming on in here. I mean, these watermelon plants down here are they're doing fantastically, and they're putting out some nice lush green growth, and we've got some male and female flowers present now, which is great for the pollination. So let's have a look at what we've got. So the variety that I'm currently growing in here is called Sugarbaby, and I believe this is a variety from the 1950s, but the best thing about this variety is the fact that it's 10.2 on the Brix scale. Now what the Brix scale is, it's a scale used to indicate the sweetness in fruits. So 10.2 is quite high, and another good thing about the variety of Sugarbaby is the fact that it doesn't require a long growing season. Now, of course, in the UK, in general, we don't get the longest of growing seasons you can get. We generally don't get particularly long and hot summers. So you want something that's going to produce fruit relatively quick. Of course, if you live in a climate in another country somewhere where which you have a longer growing season, you would probably want to consider growing some other varieties as well. But in the UK, Sugarbaby is a good one to grow, and you can just see how much growth these are putting out. And excuse me, I'm growing them in these tubs up these sort of a netting trellis, if you want to call it that, so in order to conserve space, because of course you guys can see my polytunnel here. I don't have infinite amounts of space in here. I think it's 2 meters by 4 or something along those lines, but I wanted to conserve the space, so grew them in these tubs and wrapping them slowly around these. Now this is the interesting thing. Look here. Now this is, you can just see that there. That is a female flower. You can tell that because it's got the flower on the end and you've got the fruit at the back, and that is therefore a female flower. Now a male flower looks like this. You can see that there. It doesn't have the fruitlet at the back. So what I'm doing is taking some pollen from the male flower like this. We can't see the yellow bits on there. And I'm going to put them into the female flower like this. Like so. So of course if you're growing these outside, hopefully you'll have bees flying around and they will hopefully do the pollination for you. But of course here in the polytunnel I have the door shut the majority of the time, so that certain things don't get in here. I have to do the pollination for the plants. So if you're growing these on, commercially on a big field somewhere in some lovely warm faraway land, you may not need to do this. And of course if you're growing thousands of tons of the things, you probably wouldn't have the time to fertilise them or pollinate them. But if you're growing them inside like this, you're going to need to do it because there's nothing in here that's going to do it for me. And I'm hoping to get a good crop of watermelons this year. I mean, I've got about 7 or 8 plants down there, and if I just get 5 or 6 watermelons from that, I'll be happy. I managed to produce a worthwhile crop 2 years ago, and they're very sweet in taste as well. They weren't particularly large, but they were indeed watermelons. If you check out my playlist from, check out my playlist and check out the videos from about 2 years ago, you will see the watermelons that I grew. And I also show on there how I created a growing medium which I grew them in, because of course watermelons are quite hungry plants and they need a lot of nutrients. So I've got a lot of horse manure in here, some good quality compost as well, and they appear to be loving it so far. So also, which is interesting, it's probably going to be the subject for another video, but I'm also growing these bitter melons up these canes here, and I've got my first fruit forming, I noticed there. So these are self-fertile, so I don't need to go about fertilising them. By self-fertile, that means that the plant can set fruit with its own pollen. So take these for example. This is a peach, Dixie Red, but this is self-fertile. So the flowers, they pollinate themselves from the pollen within the flower. So you don't have to worry about taking the pollen from the male flower to the female flower. The same with here, which is my cherries here. This is variety Stella. Same again, don't have to worry too much about pollination because it does it itself from the flower. But these watermelons are not self-fertile, so I've had to pollinate them myself. And you really don't want, you know, to see your flowers just drop off because they haven't been pollinated, because of course they do need to be that. So yeah, I mean, today I was at a friend's house and he got a massive watermelon out, and I'm thinking like, wow, it's huge. And I saw that, and it's quite inspirational. It obviously wasn't grown here in the UK, but you know, it'd be interesting to see just how big these melons are going to be in here. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. And if there's anybody out there, which I know there are some of my viewers out there growing watermelons here in the UK in cooler parts such as Scotland, just post your comments down below. I am interested, and just tell me if you've got any videos on them and I'll check them out. I always say this regularly: if I don't respond to your comments, it's not because I'm being ignorant, it's to do with busyness. So I hope you guys out there are doing well. Take care and speak soon.